Hey everybody, this is Julio of Echale Porras Productions, and today we're going to be showing you guys how to spatchcock and oven roast a whole chicken. Let's get to our beautiful bird. Alright, so here we have our chicken. This is a pancha de pollita. What we're going to do, if you haven't checked out the Thanksgiving video that we did almost a year ago, we are going to do what's called spatchcocking this bird. What spatchcock means is that we're going to cut out its backbone and just lay it out flat, because if you try to roast in this form factor and in the oven, your white meat is at the top, so it's getting a lot more heat, and your thighs and your legs are down here tucked below, which means that they're not getting as much of that heat that they need to get to their safe eating temperature. By the time the breasts get to their safe eating temperature, the thighs are still undercooked, and by the time the thighs and the legs get to their safe eating temperature, your breast is going to be overcooked and dry. Anyways, enough rambling. Let's get this backbone cut out. What you're going to do is you're going to flip pancha, and if you have any little gizzards, like here's the liver, the heart, all that fun stuff that you get. So here's the cavity. This is the front side, these are the breasts, so we want to keep this. What we're going to do is we're going to cut along the ribs, and then we're going to flip it over and flatten it out. You can use a sharp knife, or you can use some good kitchen shears. Let's get at it. Here's the little tail. You want to go slightly to the side of that, and you're going to start your cutting. There you have it, your chicken's backbone. Now you can keep all this, you can get rid of it, but what you can do is throw this all into a pot, get it to a boil, and make yourself a nice caldo de pollo at home. So you don't have to use your consommé or your chicken bouillon cubes or any of that. You can make it right at home. You can use all pieces of this bird. Now while you're in here, you're gonna wanna clean it up a bit. Here you still got some of the innards. You can take out some of the bones if you wish. One other thing is you're gonna wanna take your knife, and here in the little breast connective bone, you're gonna wanna make a little slit, cut down, and that's gonna help us flatten our bird out. All right, we've cut what we can. We gave pancha a flip, and we are going to flatten this a bit more. Hopefully your CPR training came in, or that episode of The Office that taught you how to do it. You're just gonna go down. You're gonna hear a nice crunch, and as you can see here, our breasts are here, our thighs are here, our wings, we're gonna do a little finagling with them so these tips don't get burnt, but you can also just get rid of those as well. You can add that in with your backbone and your innards and your ribs, and you can make a nice stock with that. Now that we've got this nice and spatchcocked, we are gonna get to seasoning the bird. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna work our fingers in here and try to separate the skin from the meat, just like we did with our turkey. But we're gonna be very careful not to pierce the skin, because we want this to be dry, we want the skin to stay intact, so all the meat inside cooks very well. And the skin, while for some people is very tasty, it also acts as a thermal barrier so that your breast and your thighs don't get overcooked, and they stay nice and juicy, because all that juice and all that flavor and all that fat is staying inside. So what we're gonna do, just get them in there, try and get all that connective tissue out of the way. Just be careful not to pierce the skin. And if you pierce the skin, it's not the end of the world. Everything will be okay. All right, we got one side of our breast. Let's go the other side. You're gonna expose pancha's breasts. Now with your thigh, super easy. You can get the skin, pop that out, and expose all that meat, and you'll be able to get all your seasoning on here. And when you're done, just pop it back in. Boom, pancha thick. All right, now that we got pancha nice and exposed, we're gonna go ahead and get our initial seasoning on. And you're gonna season both sides. Even though there's not a lot of meat down here, you still wanna get both sides seasoned so you can get the most flavor. Just get it with a nice generous coating. And then for a bit of Cajun flavor, we're gonna hit it with our Old Bay. And not only is this gonna give good flavor, it's gonna give a nice color to our chicken as well. Generous coating, a bit of cumin, and some basil. All right, once you got your bottom side nice and seasoned, we're gonna flip it over and work on our top side. Again, we're gonna hit it with some garlic salt, a bit of Old Bay, cumin, and some basil. You're then gonna cover your thighs up. Now we're going to expose our breasts and season them just the same way. Garlic salt, Old Bay, basil, and some cumin. Then you're gonna get your saggy grandma skin, get your skin and bring it back. Now, in addition to the seasoning directly on the meat, we're gonna season the skin a bit so it gets nice and dry and it creates a nice crust, whether you're a skin eater or not. Some garlic salt, your Old Bay, cumin, and some basil. Now that we have pancha all nice and seasoned, we're gonna put her aside and let it rest, and let her rest, or let it rest. Let's not assume this chicken's gender, even though it's a chicken and not a rooster. Anyways, we're gonna put it aside to rest, let all the seasoning tack up, let the salt start doing its work, and we're gonna let it do what's called a dry brine. And then we're gonna make a compound butter that we're gonna put in between the skin on top of the meat, so that way it imparts even more flavor and you keep some juiciness. Let's get this to the side and let's start our butter. All right, so now we're gonna get started on our compound butter. Again, if you can make this the night before, wrap it up and get it in the fridge, that's gonna let the flavors melt together a lot better. But right now, we're hungry and we wanna get this done. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take 1 stick of butter, mix it around a bit, some parsley flakes, just to give it that nice pop of green, a bit more of our Old Bay, some of our salt-free seasoning, and a good dollop of garlic. Gonna get your handy dandy fork again, and you're gonna mix that in. Ooh, the aroma. Garlic and butter, what's better? Last but not least, for our compound butter, we're gonna put the juice and zest of 1 lime. Pancha already has a bunch of savory flavors, so we wanna put some acid to kind of cut through that. All right, let's get Pancha back out here and get her covered in butter. So we have Pancha out here again on a bed of nice cauliflower and broccoli that we're also gonna roast along with this. We put it on the bottom. Usually you put it on the bottom to elevate it, but since we have a rack, that's not necessary. But all the nice fat drippings and all the juices from the chicken are gonna then go into the broccoli and the cauliflower, flavor that, and we're gonna have some nice roasted veggies to go along with our roasted chicken. So now it's time to just kind of get down and dirty again. You're gonna wanna pop out your thighs again, pop off your breastises, and just get your butter on there. And now that you've got Pancha nice and buttered up, you're gonna get her in the oven. We have our oven set to 425, and we're gonna let this bird go for about 45 minutes to an hour. What we're looking for is for the meat to come up to a temperature of about 165 to 170. We're gonna pull it out and we're gonna show you how to carve it up. Let's get this baby in the oven. All right, Panchita is out of the oven, and we let her rest for an additional 15 minutes after we got her out. So in total, it was 45 minutes of cook time and then 15 minutes to rest, so an hour total. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna carve her up. The easiest thing you can do now is to get the thighs off. Remember, oh, look at that. Super easy. Remember, since we cut off the backbone, we also cut the connective bone between the thigh and the breast, so look at that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Same with this side. Take that off. And there you have it, your broken down chicken. Now you can go ahead and separate your thighs and your legs if you want, but that's a pretty good portion right there. Let's try it out. Here we have some of the breast meat, and as you can see here, super juicy, is just running down my fingers. If you cook it perfectly, super juicy meat. So let's try it out. Try a bit of thigh meat as well. Now we also have our veggies that got roasted and got marinated and basted in all that nice chicken juice, butter, excess butter that came down. So go out into the world, use your newfound spatchcock roasted chicken recipe, go wow your family in a fraction of the time that it would usually take. If you like the video, hit that like button, and if you want to see what we do next, hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it. And as always, stay safe, stay awesome,